simulcasting.com.
Welcome to another episode of Here They Come. I'm Paul Ramlow.
And I'm Kate Lockhart.
Kate, tonight, action at the Meadowlands, the first major final of the season for the older trotting set. The Sumac Lad final carrying a purse of $125,000, featuring Lucky Jim, the first leg winner, and Enough Talk, the second leg winner. Should be an exciting race tonight, and then these two trotters should be joined by some other top-notch horses in the near future. Both Buckeye St. Pat, the two-time Dan Patch Award-winning mare, and Corleone Kosmos, 2008 Breeders' Crown champion, are also set to make their return to the races. So this should be a great summer for the trotters.
Yeah, it sounds like Tom Houghton is really optimistic about Corleone Kosmos and his return to the track. He's saying he thinks he can have his best ever year this season. So it'll be great to watch these horses go head-to-head and see if maybe a new speed record can be set for older trotting horses. Millionaire Dali won the Spring Pacing Championship final for older pacing horses up in Canada this past weekend. So it's great to see the older pacing horses making their comeback as well. Yeah,
last week you'll remember we talked about Auckland Reactor and his much-anticipated debut this summer in the older pacing set. This past week at the Meadowlands, defending Dan Patch winner won the West, qualified along with Shark Gesture. Those two went head-to-head quite a bit last year in the major stakes.
Some people who've been the most outspoken about wanting to see older horses back on the track are the folks up at Vernon and Tioga Downs. Speaking of which, Paul Ramlow caught up with Vice President of Racing and Simulcast at Vernon and Tioga, Jason Settlemoir, for this week's interview.
Well, Jason, you're getting ready to open Vernon Downs here this coming Friday, and then Tioga Downs next month on May 1st. Has to be a busy but yet exciting time of the year for you.
Well, it certainly is, Paul. Thanks for having me on the program here. It is a busy time, but it's also an exciting time. We return to live racing at Vernon on this coming Friday for 90 days of racing, and then at Tioga on Derby Day, Saturday, May 1st for 57 days of racing. So looking forward to getting both the facilities back up and racing again.
That's really exciting. Hey, Jason, one of the things that happened over the winter that I thought was very newsworthy, and we talked about it a lot here, was the reduction of the takeout rates at Tioga Downs. Can you explain a little bit how that got started and how you came about to do it?
Yeah, at the end of last season, we've been thinking about different things and how to attract more people to the track, more fans to the track, and also to keep our customers loyal to us. And it was Nick Salvi and myself that were kind of thinking out loud about these kind of things, and so we decided we would go with a takeout reduction rate at Tioga. We also offered it to Vernon, but they didn't sign on board. They wanted to see how the pilot program went here at Tioga in 2010. So the horsemen jumped on board with it here at Tioga. We've reduced our takeout rates from 18 to 15% on whips, win, place, and show, exactas and doubles. Two-horse multiples there from 20 to 17, and then all others from 25 to 21. So, and it's got a lot of good press, on all the different blogs and so forth. And I've got a ton of phone calls, a ton of emails from people that say thank you, and we wish other tracks were doing this too and trying it. But thank you for stepping out. Maybe this is something that, if it gets positive results, that it would be a trend for the industry. So that's what we're looking for, and that's what we're hoping for as well.
And I know you folks there now have major races for all the older trotters and pacers. Vernon has the credit winner in the Conway Hall for trotters, and Tioga has the Bettors Delight and the Art Escape for pacers. And the Bettors Delight is a new race this year, isn't it?
Yeah, the Bettors Delight, sponsored by Blue Chip Farms, bred in New York to take on the world, but it's open to all the open pacers there and so forth. It's a $200,000 estimated race on Sunday, June the 13th. It's actually the following Sunday, after June the 6th is when the Art Escape is for the open mares on the pacing side, and then June 13th is the Bettors Delight. And we're very excited about both of these, and particularly there with the first year being the Bettors Delight and having a program in place for all the older horses, sex and gate-wise there. So it puts together our vision and so forth. The last piece of the puzzle was put in place with the Bettors Delight, and we're very excited about it. We've some top-notch horses that have nominated to it. Auckland Reactor, foiled again, and all the good older pacers. So we're hoping to get them all here on that Sunday, June the 13th, for the first edition of the Bettors Delight.
And I know your stake season starts up for the New York breds a couple weeks earlier with the Empire Breeders' Classic. And I believe your nominations were up quite significantly this year, right?
Yeah, the Empire Breeders' Classic has done quite well. This was a thought that Jeff had put together several years ago that came into fruition, and we've been very happy with the Empire Breeders' Classic, and it really has, it really kicks off the New York Sire Stakes season. At both of our properties, Tioga Downs and Vernon Downs, and then we've also got new for 2010 is the John Simpson Stakes. The 3-year-olds are in May, and then at both Tioga and Vernon, and then in October at Vernon will be the 2-year-olds. So we're excited about having the Simpsons, the Empire Breeders' Classic again, and then all of our other stake races that we have.
And Jason, you and I have known each other for a number of years, and I can't think of anyone more passionate about the sport of harness racing than you. What I want to know is how you find the time to run 2 racetracks, be the president of the United States Harness Riders Association, be a member of the USTA Board of Directors. When do you sleep?
It really comes down to the people that work for me at both of these facilities. They make things easy for me and be able to do these things with the HTA, USTA, and USTA, and that's what it really boils down to.
Well, Jason, we appreciate your time as always. Good luck this summer at Vernon Downs and Tioga Downs. Here's hoping for much success.
Thanks, Paul.
That's great. I always appreciate hearing the insights Jason has to offer. Paul, as you know, I like to surf the internet looking at the various harness racing blogs that are out there, and one of my favorites is Adam Bowden's blog. Adam Bowden is the owner of Diamond Creek Farms in Kentucky, and he has a great blog about the breeding business and what happens there at Diamond Creek. And it was interesting to see this week he had a post where he's a little frustrated. This year they've had 18 foals so far, and 16 of them have been fillies.
Yeah, it's very interesting to read Adam's insights. I had to get a nice little chuckle after reading that this week, and his blog is very insightful and something totally different, I think, than what we see anywhere else out on the internet.
Yeah, if you'd like to check it out, you can find it at innerworkingsofabreedingfarm.blogspot.com.
And now it's time for this week's edition of the Hollywood Minute with Nicole Kraft and Bob Hollywood Heyden, brought to you by Hoofbeats Magazine, reporting with horsepower. Check out Hoofbeats' special Earth Day promotion on Thursday, April 22nd at www.ustrotting.com.
Well, Holly, I couldn't help but notice, looking at the Meadowlands card this weekend, we heard a lot about bringing top horses back to the races, especially over the last year, and it sure seems like in the older trotting ranks that we've done that.
Yeah, we have a budding rivalry, Enough Talk and Lucky Jim, who've exchanged photo victories in the last couple of weeks, bringing back some memories of some great rivalries in the past. Now, Enough Talk and Lucky Jim are the 2 fastest trotters ever, 2 fastest older trotters ever at 49 and 3 and 150 and 1. And the last 2 winners are the older trotter of the year. Now, is this a rivalry we've been hoping for and waiting for? I'd say, yeah, if we can keep going, for sure, because if you look back at some of the best rivalries we've had in the trotting ranks, there aren't a lot on the list. American Winner and Pine Chip is probably the best one we had back in 1993, when American Winner won the Hambo, and Pine Chip basically ran the table from that point on, was voted Trotter of the Year. Moneymaker Magician hooked up in 2000, but that was Moneymaker's last season. Mac LaBelle and Napolitano definitely was a good rivalry, but it was dominated by Mac. But I think the near rivalries, the ones we almost had, are probably more interesting than the actual ones we did have. Remember Continental Victory and Moneymaker back in '96, the great 3-year-old trotting fillies. They both won that day, the Hambo and the Hambo Oaks, but Continental Victory never raced past 3, so we never saw that. Malabar Man and Lord Stormont in '97. Park Avenue Joe and Probe in that dead heat 1989. Can anybody remember when they raced after that? Because the rivalry simply didn't develop. So the good and great horses don't seem to race past 3, and when they do, they have limited schedules. So right now, for the purposes of Enough Talk and Lucky Jim, let's sit back and enjoy it and hope it lasts the whole season.
And where do you think Corleone Kosmos comes into this?
Corleone Kosmos, I think he'll be right in this mix. He's now 8 and raced sporadically. I think he's only got 60 or so races in his life. So he's going to fit right in and maybe make this a nice trio.
Absolutely. Well, Holly, you have a great week.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next week.
Thanks a lot, Nicole and Bob. I also am looking forward to those rivalries coming up this summer in the trotting ranks. An interesting feature on our website earlier this week, Kate, our Canadian correspondent Karen Briggs talked about the opening of Grand River Raceway up in Elora, Ontario this past Monday. That's a racetrack that's got some very interesting ideas on the way they do things, Kate.
Yeah, Kelly Spencer, who's their manager of marketing and communications, has really taken outside of the box thinking to a new level at Grand River. They have the bouncy pony races, which have been enormously popular. This year on opening day, they had a local business night. And it's just great to see the different things they come up with to try to bring people out to the track. And it's been reflected in their handles. So it's good to see that she's able to bring new faces to the track and get them engaged with racing.
So if you're looking for something to do this summer, maybe check out Grand River Raceway on August 2nd. That's when the track's signature event, the $300,000 Battle of Waterloo for 2-year-old pacers, will be contested. Should be an exciting day up there at Grand River.
Well, that wraps up another episode of Here They Come. I'd like to thank Jason Settlemoir, Bob Hollywood Heyden, Nicole Kraft, and our producer Rich Johnston. I'm Kate Lockhart.
And I'm Paul Ramlow.
And we'll see you next week for another episode of Here They Come.